This is Mina Barsoom with cdocs.com and welcome to the tip of the day. Today I'd like to focus on materials, and I know this can be a little overwhelming when you're a new CEREC user and starting to learn about all the different options we have at our disposal. So I want to take a minute to break these down into different groups for you so you get a general idea of which material is indicated for which procedure or which type of restoration. So let's take a look at some of our adhesive ceramics, and these are what we term our aesthetic materials. So you're looking at materials like Vita Mark II, Vita Trilux. Those are simply feldspathic porcelain. They're the most aesthetic material. They do lack strength compared to our high strength materials, but they are very, very aesthetic and they give you a really nice result in the anterior. So typically for me, I like using Vita Mark II or Vita Trilux when I'm trying to restore a single central with a feldspathic porcelain. The Trilux and the Forte give you different layers of translucency. Same thing with Empress Multi, that is your lucite reinforced ceramic. The Multi comes in 14 different layers of translucency, so it gives you a lot of control over how you position the restoration of the block to get a really nice aesthetic result. Now from there we can go to our high strength materials. These are your lithium disilicate Emax and your Celtra Duo. So these are really meant for posterior restorations where you need aesthetics plus strength in the 500 megapascal plus range. So I like using these materials in the posterior. I do use them in the anterior specifically when I have that medium translucency need, like Emax MT for example. Celtra Duo is great because it gives you the best of both worlds where you can simply mill it and then deliver it with just a simple polish, or you can fire and sinter these to add more strength if you need the strength that you need. So Celtra Duo is a really neat material that kind of fulfills a lot of different parts of the mouth where you might need treatment. Zirconia became a really big innovation for us in the CEREC world when we developed the speed fire. So being able to sinter these zirconium materials in under 20 minutes in the office really made it a same-day restoration material. So many different types of zirconia. We're not going to get into the details of each different one. You have 3Y all the way up to 5Y zirconia, basically going from very strong, low translucency to a little bit weaker but high translucency. So Katana, for example, is one of your 4 and 5Y materials that gives you a lot of strength at 700 megapascals, but is also very translucent and very aesthetic. So looking at all the different zirconias, we can get into a lot of the details in another video, but zirconia is kind of its own category in the material world. Another material option I like are these resilient ceramics or these composite blocks, and these are what we term hybrid materials. They were designed to have a resin matrix with some ceramic infiltration to give it a little bit of strength, but also allows it to mill very nicely with very minimal chipping. And the beauty is these materials don't need post-processing, so they simply come out of the milling machine. They can be bonded into the patient. I like using these for inlays and onlays and provisionals and things like that because they are very resilient. They mill really nicely and they fit well in an onlay or inlay type fashion. So those are my go-to for those types of restorations. And then if you do have a Dentsply Sirona cone beam and a CEREC, you're able to integrate both of those components together to design surgical guides. So surgical guides become their own material class where these can be milled in the office in about 40 minutes to give me a full quadrant guide that I can use to surgically place an implant. So really nice option if you have a milling machine that you want to be able to use for things other than crowns and inlays. Surgical guides are a huge innovation there. And then once the implant is placed, now we have restorative materials for the implants. These are our abutment blocks. We have anything from zirconia and Emax all the way to some PMMA materials that we use for provisionals as well. So hopefully this was a good overview of all the different material options. We look forward to seeing you again soon in future videos. Take care.